Student of the Game is brought to you by Knoll Team Real Estate. Our mission is to eradicate mediocre real estate transactions. On your largest financial purchase, you shouldn't have to deal with average. We do this by helping you save time, reduce your stress, and helping you keep as much money in your pocket as we can. You can help us out by introducing us to your friends or family who want to make confident real estate decisions, whether buying, selling, building, or investing. At Knoll Team Real Estate, we are connected to a group of realtors who sell 1 in every 8 homes in North America. If you know someone moving out of your area, there's a great chance we can connect them to somebody we know, like, and trust. Remember, relationships win. Welcome back to another episode of Student of the Game. Judy Filler is our guest today from One Hope Wine. Super excited you're here, Judy.
Hi, thank you for having me. I'm super excited.
You told me there's a surprise early in the pod, but what do you have for us?
I brought a very fun bottle of sparkling brut that we're going to pop and celebrate.
Are you serious right now?
We're going to open this right now. What do you think of that?
Oh my goodness. Okay, so
it's going to be awesome.
Anybody who's, let's hear it. Let's hear it. Anybody who's opened one of these knows that it takes forever. Oh,
here we go.
And that's what a pro does. All right, pour yourself one and then pour me one. How about that? This is fantastic. So this is a sparkling brut.
Correct. From 90-point rated sparkling brut.
Okay. Pour me one now. I want one. I can't have you just trying the brut without me.
Absolutely not.
If you're listening to this in the audio and you're driving your car, you're missing out. Please go over to YouTube and watch this because we got some sparkling brut.
Cheers.
Judy, cheers. Oh, how about that? That's not bad for a little afternoon podcast here. Okay, so we're talking about One Hope Wine. We're talking to Judy Filler here. Judy, why don't you give the listeners a little background of who you are, where you're from, and how'd you get started with One Hope?
So I am originally I was born in Buffalo, New York. I grew up in Fort Wayne, Indiana. My father was transferred here when I was 6 months old. So I'm a Fort Wayne native, right? I went to Ball State, graduated in 1988 with a legal administration degree. Probably, I knew I wasn't going to be doing that forever. So fast forward, got married, had 4 children. And so I was a stay-at-home mom for a really long time because that was my purpose at that time. And that was what we decided how we were going to raise our children was I was staying home with them. And that was probably the best thing for them. So became an empty nester shortly, not really shortly, but probably 2019 when my youngest went to college and decided, now what? What's for me? What do I do now? Well, COVID hit. So my purpose was back. Everybody came back home. So here we were again, but it was a ton of fun. We were cooking and doing all kinds of stuff till God knows what time. And anyway, so COVID was over. Everybody left. Here it was again, came back around. So I needed something with purpose, something with community. I wanted to get back out and talk to people. Even though I'm a self-proclaimed introvert is what I call myself. When I was a kid, I couldn't even look up. I was extremely shy, but so going to step out of my comfort zone a little bit. So it was kind of serendipitous how I found One Hope. I really wasn't looking to sell wine. I don't know what I was looking for. I just wanted something with purpose and community. So
who introduced you to One Hope?
I actually found it on Facebook, believe it or not.
Did you really?
Yeah.
It's interesting. I don't know if I've ever told you the story, but we were at a Thanksgiving dinner one time, and my wife's uncle brought a bottle of One Hope to Thanksgiving, and he's like, "Brad, you got to try this because they're passionate about giving back. They have this 10% charity, and there's people in your area that will sell this product like consumer to consumer." And that's right when I heard about it. I think it was maybe less than 6 months later I met you.
Wow, that's awesome. Yeah, I found it on Facebook. didn't know what it was, set up a phone call with the home office and fell in love with it. I actually became obsessed with it. And it just hit all the bullet points that I was looking for: flexibility, purpose, community, everything. Hadn't tried the wine, so you were one up on me. So I thought, what can it hurt? Let me try the wine after I decide to jump in. And if I don't like it, who cares, right? It had the purpose point, which was what I was leaning towards. So, as you know, One Hope has given back over 12 million to 50,000 nonprofits. We've built schools in underserved areas, provided clean water, and over 1 million meals to kids that don't have food to eat. So it's everything and more.
It's funny you bring that up, because I think it's so true about most things. Just this week we're talking to, my daughter about building her personal brand. And, I actually, we called a timeout and we said, this is not about getting more followers. This is not about necessarily getting paid for your name, image, and likeness today. This is understanding who you are. This is understanding, what problem can you solve for other people? How can you impact and improve other people's lives? And when you can figure out how to impact and improve other people's lives, it could be through, sheer entertainment. We're in the real estate business. So we tell people, we help people when they're going through lifestyle changes who need to make a change in their housing. We don't talk about how many homes that we want to sell. We don't talk about our trophies or plaques, but it's about discovering that purpose. And, maybe go into a little more detail about, you stumbled across something when you were empty nesting 2.0, your second time. And there's this One Hope where it's like, yeah, we kind of like wine. We like to have a good time. We like community. We like relationships. We like, being social. But what about that purpose that One Hope had? Like, describe that a little bit. Describe, the whole give back. What does that actually mean? Like, I'm in the wine club. I buy wine from you. You're selling wine. But talk about the purpose that you found with One Hope.
It's bigger than anything I ever expected, I guess, is probably the purpose part. We've reached globally besides, just here in the United States. So I guess that's what really intrigued me was, they're just doing things all over the place. Where most companies are only giving back 1 month out of the year, One Hope was like, why should we not give back with every single bottle that we sell? Because we can, and a lot of companies can, and that was just, that was what they were founded on, and that's what I was like, I want to be a part of this because they're making a difference for sure.
I can tell your passion in it, and it's something that I hope the listener right now doesn't hear that you sell wine. I hope that they don't. It's not just that. Like, whatever you do for a living, if you're a teacher, if you detail cars, if you sell T-shirts, if you are in the real estate business, I hope you can find something that you can then get passionate about to go do more of your craft. I want to sell more homes so that I can give more back to X, right? Like, that's the whole thing, is like, I want to provide for my team. I want to provide a great service for my clients. But the more homes I sell, the more people I can bless. And I think that's if you're a leader listening to this right now, I think that's the key. The key is, it's empty waking up every day with the goal of more sales, more money, more this, more that. If you can have a passion behind it, and that's what I hear so much is coming through you right now. Can I try it again while you're talking?
Yeah, have a sip.
What's this called again? Explain this one. This is the Brut.
This is our sparkling Brut.
Okay.
It's not called champagne because it's not from France. Any champagne, basically, anything bubbly that is made elsewhere. So this is made in California at our flagship winery there. We make all of the wine in Napa Valley, and we are located right in the heart of Napa Valley. If you would check the coordinates, this is kind of a little fact. If you would check the coordinates, One Hope's winery is exactly in the heart of Napa.
Really?
Yes. It just
it's
so
all
happens.
About heart.
Yeah, we're in the heart.
It's all about the heart. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
And in this podcast, this podcast is for leaders. It's for nonprofits. It's for those that have goals, and we want to motivate people, but we also want to show you kind of your journey as well, Judy. I mean, we all think that our own struggles are in vain. Like, the challenges that I have today that are on my plate, a lot of days I think, well, nobody understands what I'm going through. And I think the reality is all of us that have a purpose, that are working towards something, we're all, if you step away from it and have a little bit of a perspective about it, I think we are all going through the same thing. Like, we're trying to find clients, we're trying to serve people really well, we're trying not to mess up and have mistakes, we're trying to give back, we're trying to, work hard and live out these values that we have. And a lot of times it's easier to do that when you listen to a podcast like this, because it's like, oh, Judy, you sell wine, you must not have a bad day in your life, right? It's like the people who sell ice cream. Like, there's never a bad day selling ice cream. Well, guess what? When the ice cream machine's broke, you're probably having a bad day, and it's 90 degrees outside and there's the line out your door. So let's get into this podcast a little bit. And on Student of the Game, we like to talk about mastering the fundamentals. What's fundamental about the work that you do? Like, what's something that you do every single day? It's routine. It's the fundamentals. Like, the strategy, we say the strategies and tactics will change. All right. I didn't have, date myself here. I almost said we didn't have the internet. We had the internet, but we didn't have like the Zillow and the Realtor.coms and all the web portals, to sell homes back when I started in 2003. That all changed. We didn't have, GPS back when I started. Again, date myself, but the strategies and tactics of selling a home will always change, but the fundamentals are always the same. So fundamentally, what are the fundamentals about what you do every single day? I mean, talk a little bit about, maybe actually describe your business model first, because I think it's a fascinating one where, you're a distributor and you get people underneath you, people who want to work for you, they want to sell wine and have parties. Like, talk a little bit about the business model, but then if you can, go into, what's fundamental about what you do.
Yeah. So the business model was set up, obviously, to reach more people. So what I do is, it's definitely relationship based. I don't feel like I'm selling something. I'm building relationships with people through wine. Wine is the vehicle. So I'm creating experiences. I'm bringing a Napa Valley experience to you, to your home, to your office, to your clients, to whoever you want to entertain. So, and that's what I try to, make the most of. I like to listen to what it is that you want out of this experience. Do you just want to entertain some friends over one night and try some cheese with some wine? Or are you trying to entertain, say, if you're a nonprofit, are you trying to have a specific event for your donors? I can come and enhance that event and make it a special event because you appreciate those donors. Just like you might have preferred clients that you want to entertain and have them at your office, or, whatever it is, or, at an open house, if it's a closed open house and you want to bring other realtors in to thank them, I don't know.
Yeah, I'll echo some of the things that you've done for us, and it's fantastic. I mean, one of the first events we ever did with you partnering was our 20th anniversary party. Our 20th anniversary party, for those that weren't there or didn't know about it, we had a 3-day event, and it was 20 years in business, and it wasn't about, hey, look at us, come celebrate with us because, we've been in business for 20 years. We actually had the idea to kick off the next 20. So we've had 20 years of experience. This was several years ago. And we wanted to kick off the next 20. And the very opening night, it was a Friday down at Parkview Field. We had a band, a great performing artist. You came in and I think there's some people that got on your wine club, your wine list just from that night. And it's been cool to see. So you've done our 20th anniversary party, Knoll Reserve, our luxury division. You've come to some of our broker open houses or some of our home tours that we've done. And you've really, to echo your words, you've elevated that experience. So if you're somebody who's looking to elevate, an experience or a community, you do a fantastic job with that. So, thanks for the work that you do. It definitely elevates, the event that we're hosting. So, talk about the fundamentals. What's fundamental? I mean, is it communication? Is it relationships? Is it, organization? Like, what are the things you have to be great at?
It's kind of 4 things. It's relationships, of course. You have to be a good listener. Consistency. So with anything, to be good at it, you have to be consistent. You have to be focused. You have to be intentional. I mean, and it's like, come on, you're selling wine, but I mean, you're too serious. But the reach outs, connecting with customers, with my wine club people, like I need to be present for them. I need to let them know, hey, your wine club's going to process. Maybe they don't want it right now. Maybe they want to add a couple special bottles for something they have coming up. Just whatever it is, I need to be there because people can buy wine anywhere. They can't buy wine that gives back, but they don't know what they don't know. So I have to get out there and I have to educate the community. whether it's myself or bringing other wine reps in so we can have a broader outreach. That's also why I build a team, and that's something separate. But the consistency part is good, because you know how that is. Once you stop doing something consistently, then it starts falling apart, and your business kind of goes down tremendously if you don't have that outreach. The third thing is service before selling. I mean, and that's at the end of the day, the most important thing in what I do, and what I was looking for the most was the service aspect of it. I wasn't looking for a job per se. I didn't want to be in an office every day. That's just too boring. Sorry. But anyway, I like to get out and talk to people, believe it or not. So the service before selling is another huge aspect of what I do. And then finally is the follow through. I pride myself on doing what I say I'm going to do. So if I've promised that I'm going to be at your open house at a given time, I'll be there. You can count on me. And that's I think is big time, especially today.
Yeah, it's huge. I love those fundamentals. I think, the reason we do this podcast is because something like that, anybody can do. No matter what career or what job you have right now, everything you just talked about, anyone can do. And I love all of them, but I think consistency gets overlooked. I think a lot of times people, especially in the younger generation, they think very transactional. They think like, okay, I did this, now what do I get for it? Right. And I think the consistency is I'm just going to keep showing up. I'm just going to keep showing up every single day, and the results are going to happen. Right. So I love the fundamentals. Moving on, we talk about falling in love with practice. Falling in love with practice is the work that you do every single day. You alluded to it a little bit with your consistency and listening to people, but there are so many things that I do on a daily basis that I actually love. And I think if people knew what I did, they would not want to sign up for real estate. What are the things that you do on a regular basis? What is the falling in love with practice, mean to you? What's falling in love with the daily grind, or falling in love with the things that you just do every single day?
Well, first and foremost is the actual wine tasting. Now, there's a lot that has to happen before I actually do that, but that's where the magic happens, is that. But there's, like I said, there's a lot that has to happen. I have to do consistently, reaching out to people, making those connections, looking for those referrals to either a nonprofit or someone hosting an event, and turning it into a fundraiser, because that's actually what every single wine tasting is. It's a fundraiser. The host gets to designate a nonprofit that we're going to give back to. So, it's just the consistency of that. And some people don't like to do the reach out part of it. But for me, I love making a new connection. I get excited about meeting somebody new. So I think that's the best part for me is that. So
that's fantastic. I love how if somebody is intentional about doing the little things every single day, what ends up happening is you pick your head up 5 years, 10 years later, and now you've built this community.
Right.
How long have you said you've been doing this?
So 4 years.
Can you imagine? And by the way, I know you're probably not going to brag on yourself a little bit, but you've won some awards. Won some awards. You're a pretty big deal in the One Hope community, aren't you?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I don't like to talk about myself. So
okay.
So there's that. But yeah, I mean, as you can see on this bottle.
Yeah, what's the bottle say?
This was just a 6-month number, but I was number 13 in the company.
Wow.
Last year. So I'm pretty proud of that. Yeah.
Wow.
And that is, again, there's not one event. There's not one wine tasting. There's not one interaction that's going to create that. It's multiple. And if I sit in my house and do nothing and not touch my business in some way every day, that is not going to happen.
Well, the consistency you talked about, like you got to be consistent, right? It's one foot in front of the other. And, for us, it's connections. For us, the things that I fall in love with is connecting with people and checking in and seeing how they're doing. We're in the lifestyle business, we say, and like it or not, here's why people move: because they're getting married, they're getting divorced. They're having babies, the empty nesting. They lose their job, they get a new job. I mean, that's just the reality of the work that I do. And I love walking alongside people. I fall in love with mentoring and counseling people as they're going through something, because we say there's two types of stresses when somebody moves. All right. There's the move itself. That's stressful. But you know what's even more stressful is the thing that people are going through that forces the move. And I think for us, that's what I get excited about. Talk a little bit more about One Hope and the give back, because we've talked about that a little bit. I think of like Toms, right? You buy a pair of Toms and they donate one to a child somewhere in the world. A lot of these businesses that have this give back strategy are doing really well. And, it's not my place to judge if they're doing that just to get more business or if they truly mean it. My guess is the way you've talked about the One Hope family is they're truly genuine about it. They're passionate about serving and giving back. But why do you think purpose has come so far as to being this powerful differentiator in the business?
I just think people are looking for purpose. They're looking for the good right now. The people being kind, giving back to other people, just being genuine and authentic, and that's what I feel One Hope is. When you go to the property, and I suggest everybody to go to our property, it's an amazing experience. Now, I'm lucky enough that I get to stay on the property because we have an 8-room estate, and they've also built a 2-room villa that I will be staying in November. But and that's a whole other thing.
If you're number 300, you probably don't get that stay. But if you're number 13, I'm sure you get the villa privileges.
Well, I earned it, but yeah, I do. So, and I'm excited about that. But that's, those are just the perks of the business. All the other things are why I do what I do. And back to the give back part, we've added an extra initiative where we're giving back school supplies through the Kids in Need Foundation, and we've raised over $3 million just for that. So when we get together at One Hope, we always do a service project, and we just gathered in July at the winery and had like a 3-day event there. And we most definitely packed backpacks for a local school. We packed 100 backpacks, and they took them all and dropped them off to the school because there's a lot of kids out there that parents don't have the money to buy them school supplies. So, education is so important.
Yeah, no, totally agree. And I think let's go back to falling in love with the practice for a second. One of the things you said you love is the wine tastings. I've got some questions about the wine tastings a little bit. I got maybe some questions about wine in general, but one of the things that I've heard and I've seen, there's a guy by the name of Dan Buettner, and Dan Buettner was for National Geographic, and he did this whole study called Blue Zones. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. Blue Zones was a study of populations that have the most dense citizens that live to 100. They're called centenarians. So the populations that have the most dense centenarians, there were 5 places in the country. I can't rattle them off the top of my head, but he studied why people live to 100. And a couple of these, why they live to 100, was one, because they have a deep sense of community, and they had wine at 5 o'clock. There's other things that bring people together, but on this podcast today, we're talking about One Hope. So we're going to talk about One Hope wine, bringing people together. What are some things you've learned about people when you're doing wine tastings?
So what I've witnessed is people come in. Now, sometimes they don't know each other. Sometimes they do. Everybody knows each other in the room, but there's more times than not that they don't, right? They only know the host, and the host invited them because they want to have this amazing event and give back, X amount of dollars to their nonprofit that they're passionate about. So people will come in, everybody's quiet and reserved, and it starts off slow, and they're really listening. And then as time goes on, and what I mean by listening is I pour a wine and I explain the wine, I talk about what it might pair with and in ways that you can use it in a meal, et cetera, et cetera. So by wine 2 or 3, now the room's lightening up a little bit. They start talking to the neighbor next to them, and then through further interactions, well, they know somebody that they know, or they know a relative of that, someone else in the room, and it just becomes more of a community type event versus I'm just going to this thing because I was invited to it. You know what I mean? They're exchanging phone numbers, and they're talking about, well, I've got this guy that does this that can help you. And so that's kind of what I enjoy watching, is how the evening unfolds. So
the community evolves, doesn't it?
Yeah,
through the wine tasting.
Yeah, it really does.
I bet people are interesting when they start tasting wine, and there's different social cues, right? I mean, there's probably the reserve people. There's the ones where it's like, hey, pour me another glass. And you're like, no, we're here for a tasting. We're not here for drinking,
yes.
Or whatever.
Yeah. We got some people that are just sipping, some that are chugging, some that actually know a lot about wine, while others are like, I don't know the first thing about wine, but I know this tastes great. And that's all you need to know. Really.
I mean, I imagine, I bet it would be a hard sale if your wine wasn't very good.
Exactly.
Your wine's excellent. I know I've been a part of the wine club since our 20-year anniversary party, and we've met, and you've done a great job. I can go on and on about how, I think you're fantastic in terms of your communication, the consistency. It's just fantastic. But talk about the wine a little bit. So I've got a couple. So you poured the Brut, and the Brut is anything bubbly that's not from France.
Correct. Sparkling Brut.
Sparkling Brut, and anything not from France. And if it's from France, it's called champagne. Correct?
Yep.
Okay.
Correct.
All right. So there's a couple other bottles that we have here. There's the Pinot Noir here. I'm showing it on the screen.
Yep.
That's from Monterey. And then we have another Pinot Noir, Russian River Valley Pinot Noir.
Yeah.
Showing that right here.
Yeah.
One Hope. That doesn't look like a full bottle.
No. We need to sip that one right now.
We're trying that one too. Okay, yeah. So cheers. In our Knoll Team glasses here.
Of course. Look at that.
All right. Cheers.
So what's special about this one is
tell us about it.
It's so good, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. That's excellent.
It's from our reserve collection. And you're wondering, why does it say Russian River Valley? Because that's where the grape is grown.
Okay.
It's grown in that region, and that's why it's called that. And you can see how many cases of that wine were made.
230.
Yeah, so it's
only 230.
Only 230.
Wow.
That's it. And then it also has the vintage on there. So what year?
22.
So 2022. There was only 200 and some cases made. So once that's gone, it's gone. So then I have here the Petite Syrah, and this is this grape. So this is a completely different grape. It's the Petite Syrah grape, and so this one is also grown. This one's grown in Napa, whereas the other one's in the Russian River Valley. And then this one, we made 410 cases of this one, and this is also from our reserve collection. So these are two top-notch wines in our portfolio, which we've won many awards. Many of our everyday wine, we call them our table wine, lots of awards with just even our table wine, let alone our reserve collection.
No, I agree. Your table wine is fine. I think it's good. I mean, if you like to do wine tastings, they have something during your wine tastings called porch pounders, and porch pounders are like, hey, if you're sitting on your porch and it's a Tuesday night and you want to open a bottle of wine just for the, for the thrill, here's a good porch pounder. It's a table wine or whatever. If you want something more like the reserve and you're going to have a steak on a Friday night, or you're inviting, a really good guest over to the house, maybe a friend that you like. I probably wouldn't open the reserve with a friend I didn't like, but that's a whole nother podcast. So tell me a little bit more about the wine and the winemakers and some of the awards that they've won, because you actually, when I say you actually, it's like you have good wine.
Yeah, we do. So several in our wine tastings, what does a wine tasting look like? So we typically serve 6 to 7 bottles, and that will serve about 20 people, and it's a tasting. It's not a full glass, like we're not pouring a glass like this to everybody. It's 1 to 2 ounce pour for each one. So we go through 7 or 8. We start with the sparkling Brut. We try a couple whites, whether it's a Chardonnay or Pinot or a Sauvignon Blanc, and then we do several reds. As you know, Napa Valley is known for its cabs. So we always have a cab. I do a red blend, and we usually do a Pinot. Now we have a Pinot blend that we like to share right now. And then I usually end with a sweet one, because there's always somebody with a sweet tooth in the room. So I usually share that as well. We have a really unique sparkling almond that people love.
It's borderline dessert. I mean,
it is.
It's unreal. So, so a little bit more about the wine. Let's talk about wine tastings. I mean, I can only imagine the amount of people that want to sign up to sell One Hope wine, because I mean, if you think about the onboarding process, you've got to try it, right? I mean, you have to know a little bit about it. You have to try it. You have to be able to explain it.
Right. But what I say is, you don't have to know everything about wine when you start. You have to know a little bit about One Hope wine. Sure. And we have a guide.
Story, right?
Yeah. Tell our story. You know what we're all about. That's really what's important. We have a guide. Everybody that comes to a tasting has a guide they can follow, and it tells them probably more about the wine than we ever share. They're just curious. They want to try the wine. They want to taste it. They want to be a part of something else, and that's really what One Hope is all about. Yes, we have wine. That's our vehicle, but the bigger picture is, I think, what people enjoy about the experience the most. And if I can convey that at tasting, that's my goal. Yes, I want to sell wine, but that's not what I'm really there to do.
Well, the more consistent you are about building community and being in rooms, the more wine you're going to sell. If you're selling t-shirts, the more at-bats you have, the more t-shirts you're going to sell. If I don't connect with my past clients, I'm not going to grow my business. And so I think there's a theme here that I'm hearing from you, and it's obviously why you're successful. It's because of those fundamentals you talked about early. But I think a lot of times people look at you as like you're in the wine business or the wine lady, or I'm sure you have some nicknames or something. But you often say how it's more about the people. So did it take you? Well, obviously it didn't take you that long. You're number 13 in the company, plus. Your stock's growing. But how long did it take before you knew like this is something I can get passionate about?
Well, not very long, but I did have to figure that out because initially, like I said, I didn't know what the wine was all about. So I kind of took it slow at the beginning. I tried the wine, loved it. Then I thought, okay, well, I'll share it with family and friends, right? See what they think, because we want their approval at the end of the day. So I started there. Everybody loved it. And I was like, okay, well, this is good. This is catching on. And then I thought, okay, I know that I'm going to have to step out of my comfort zone now because I've exhausted neighbors, friends, relatives, the warm market. It's done. These people, I want to earn the trip to Punta Cana that's now on the table, right? So I've got to get out of the comfort zone. And that's really when things kind of clicked for me. It was like, okay, this is how needs to be done. So I got comfortable with being uncomfortable is really, at the end of the day, what I had to fall in love with, I guess. And that's when the magic started to happen. That's when it became more of an experience for people rather than a transaction. I didn't want the one-offs. I wanted to create something for people, and I want to be the go-to for these people. I want to build the relationships and be, oh, well, I've got a wine person. Yeah, she can help you. And so
I love it. I think if nobody listens to this other than my kids, and my kids probably aren't going to listen to this, but if they do, the one thing I want them to hear, along with everybody else, is a lot of times when you're selling a product or even a service, a lot of times you stop and you get maybe a little frustrated of, I need to know everything about my product. I need to know everything about what I do. Like even realtors get into business and they're like, I need to know everything about the contracts before I get started. And I think what I'm hearing you say, and what I know is true, is we are all in the people business. I could go buy a bottle of wine at the local wine store. I could go buy a bottle of wine at the local grocery store. And I do, and that's fine. But buying it from you, there's a bigger passion, there's a bigger purpose, and you are in the people business. And you said it earlier, and wine is your vehicle.
Right. Exactly right.
You don't need to add anything to that. I'm repeating what you've already said. So if the listeners are like, wow, you can build relationships through any product or any sale.
You can.
Yes, absolutely.
Wine is a connector, though. Wine is different than, cleanser. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
So.
I had a professor in college. I remember he called, I think it was like sociology, it's probably sociology, and he talked about the cheese ball theory. And the cheese ball theory is when a group of people get together, whether it's over a cheese ball at a dinner or a wine tasting, what ends up happening is people start to agree with one another. Whether it's politics or whether it's the news or whether it's whatever it is, he's called it the cheese ball theory. When you get a group of people together, there's something about that sociology that allows people to start agreeing with one another. And I don't know if that's because they're having a shared experience. And as we all know, having a shared experience is better than being in isolation. Drinking wine with friends is much better than drinking by yourself.
Totally.
And so talk to that a little bit. Talk about the communities and the other things that you're also seeing at these wine tastings. I mean, has anybody ever signed up to sell wine with you just from being at a wine tasting?
Actually, yes, that has happened. And I usually, well, not all the time, but people have come to me wanting more information, but I usually also go to the ones that I think enjoyed their night or know a little bit about wine, or most recently, a person that joined, she was talking about during COVID, she had wine tastings. She would go to the grocery store, buy some wine, and they did blind wine tastings. And what that is they would put the bottle in a bag and, have people try to guess like what varietal it was, where it could have possibly been made, or, things like that. And it's really, those are fun because people always, go to the like, oh, this was made in Napa and this and that and the other thing. And
talk a little bit about the wine tasting. So for people who maybe enjoy wine, or give the listeners maybe a little inside information, is there a certain way that you should try wine, taste wine? Is there any, I've seen people like smell coffee beans or have something in between, to kind of cleanse their palate a little bit. Like, is there any tricks of the trade that that's good for wine tastings?
Yeah, I mean, we always tell people, keep it simple. First of all, a wine tasting does not have to be a bougie event. Just have some cheese, some crackers, a little bit of water, some meats. It's not like it has to be this extravagant thing. You do not have to clean your entire house. Just invite some friends over. Get a couple different kinds of cheeses, because soft cheese goes with a lot, or do some hard cheeses which will go with some other things. Just don't overthink it. This is just supposed to be fun, and a lot of times you can change the taste in your mouth with something as simple as a breadstick or a cracker. So, yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Couple other things here as we wrap up. We talked about the fundamentals. Mastering the fundamentals is important no matter what you do. We talked about, falling in love with practice. It's something that if I could, I don't know if it's going to be on my tombstone or not, but I think the thing that my kids, have heard me say more than anything, almost more than relationships win, which is what we believe, is you got to fall in love with practice. You can be good at anything you want in life if you love to practice it. And then at the end, we talk about winning at the game of life. Everybody does their career for a different reason, but what's really important, I think, is to understand, what does winning at the game of life look like? What does it mean for you? I had a little what's called narrative transportation. I saw myself in what you were describing when your adult children came back home during COVID. I mean, the thing that I talk about all the time is, one of my biggest goals in life right now is to be best friends with my adult children. That means I don't have to be best friends with them today. It means I need to discipline them today. It means I need to date their mom so that we have a great relationship. It means I need to follow through on the things that I say. It means, putting them in situations so that they can grow and learn, and then eventually become best friends with my adult children. So winning at the game of life for me is that pursuit of building the family that, I'm aspiring to be. And so that resonated with me. But Judy, for you, at Student in the Game, we talk about winning at the game of life. What does winning at the game of life look like for you right now?
Well, that's part of it for me. I'm obviously in a different phase of life than you are. So I want to have that same relationship with my kids. We've all lived in the same home for 20 plus years, right? Now they're all
twice.
Gone. Now, right, twice, which, I said, that was fun. So I feel like I'm winning there. So we are friends now at this point.
Yeah,
now they're having
awesome.
kids. So it's kind of like not funny, but it is funny to watch them with their infant children, and now a toddler, and the different things that are happening, which are completely all the same thing that they were doing to us, which, so my husband and I just kind of look back, and like sometimes we'll look at each other and just kind of laugh and shake our head and just let it play out. But anyway, yeah, we just, at the beginning, it was all about them. It was all about raising good humans that are kind to people, but are also very goal driven, and I think we accomplished that with all four of them. That we had a kind of a short-term goal for them, that we wanted all four of them to graduate from college. Well, we did that. So, and then, through that process, and three of them playing college sports, one of them going on to just concentrate on his business degree with the Kelley School of Business and becoming very successful with that. I just think those were things that we instilled in them that were very important. And it goes all back to the same things, the fundamentals of, how you run your life, how you, what your day looks like. Are you getting up at noon, or, are you getting up and being productive every day. Like, what are your goals? Like, you have to have, with a goal, you have to have a plan. So these are just some of the things that were winning, that that was important to us as we're raising our kids. So now obviously that's shifted. Now we're thinking, okay, well, now the grandkids, like, they're the next generation. We want the same for them. And yes, that's up to the parents, but we can assist with that as well. But just being present for them is still very important to me. It's a different role. But I think also showing them that I'm still goal driven at the stage of my life when I could be doing absolutely nothing, or sitting poolside all day long every single day, which to me doesn't sound like fun.
Every once in a while it's fun, but not every day.
Every once in a while is great. It's actually relaxing, and I love to do that. But on a day-to-day thing, I'm not there yet. So I think with what I'm doing, I think they enjoy watching my success. And my husband and I just went to Italy on an incentive trip with One Hope. So they love that we can do that. And I grew up on incentive trips. My dad was in sales, and I guess that was instilled in me, in a different way, because he's an Italian old school and women didn't work. But but watching him earn those trips, now I get to earn them. So
that's awesome.
Yeah,
you're doing a great job, and this is awesome. I've learned more about you on this podcast. I've known you for a while now, and you keep up the good work. You're doing a great job, and I love One Hope's mission. And I'll just be a testament to I'll tee you up for this. If somebody wanted to join your wine club, how would they do that?
They could contact me, because I like to walk somebody through the process. I like to tell them what all the benefits are. I like to tell them what it is for them, what they're going to get from this wine club. Like, what are the free things? Like, we all like free stuff, especially if it's wine. Come and visit us at the winery. Like I said, I'm from Fort Wayne, but we have the flagship winery. You can go to Napa, have a tasting that's over a $200 value, and I can bet you if one of the founders is there, they're going to take you on a tour of the the actual winery, the operations of it, the field, like where the grapes are grown. They might even sneak you into the estate and let you, check that out a little bit too. So it's a full circle thing. It's something that you're a part of, and we want you to be a part of that through our wine club. So,
you do a great job. So if you want to join Wine Club, talk to Judy.
Talk to me. Yeah,
absolutely.
You can find me on Facebook, or I'm on Instagram. Sips by Judy is my Instagram name.
Sips by Judy.
Yeah.
Go follow Sips by Judy. Hit her up. Send her a DM. You want to join the wine club, and I promise you it'll be a great experience. If you're only joining the wine club just to learn how to be a better salesperson, a better advisor, Judy's fantastic. Like, you do a phenomenal job of being consistent and staying in touch with people. So along those lines, I really appreciate you being a guest today on Student of the Game, and this has been a fun conversation for me.
Thank you. It's really fun for me too.
That's great. Well, we'll go follow Sips by Judy, and this Pinot Noir from the Russian River Valley. We will cheers.
Cheers. Thank
you for being a guest today, Judy.
Thank you.
All right. If you like this episode, share it with a friend. Let somebody know that you now have a wine lady that you can call, and screenshot this, tag us so that we know to make more content just like this. Until next time, have a great day.